welcome back. Okay, I have a video for your, I can't take credit for this, I've heard this a couple places, but for your quarantainment. Ha ha ha, funny. I've been thinking about doing this video for a long time. I have been procrastinating on it, pushing it off just because I wasn't sure I wanted to put it on this channel. But for now, this is where it's going to live, and we're going to see if it becomes something that I kind of want to do or not. So bear with me and enjoy. Okay, so what I'm going to show you is how I've used my happy notes to help me restart my makeup collection, beauty regimen, and figuring all that out. So to preface, I never really paid attention to the order things needed to go in, or how, just how in general. And so, and I've always loved makeup, but I've been good at like eyeshadow, but everything else was kind of like whatever. And I think eyeshadow is still the thing I'm probably the most obsessed with. But all that to say, if you guys watched my video from a couple months ago, I threw out all of my old makeup, literally threw all of it out, except for like 2 things, and decided to start over. But in order to start over, I needed to do research, and I needed to figure out what items I really needed in my collection and how the beauty industry has changed since the last time I even considered buying makeup, which was probably couple years ago, and it's definitely changed since then. And so with that, I started using my happy notes. So I want to show you guys how I started using it to do this. So I first started off watching tons and tons of YouTube videos and going through like all the different categories for like primer, foundation, concealer, all this stuff, and kind of writing down what people saw or what people were using or whatever, and that I looked like I might want to try. And I wanted to start with drugstore because I figured if I didn't like a product, then I haven't spent that much on it. And then I also started with BoxyCharm, which you guys have seen one of my BoxyCharm unboxings. And so that's kind of where I began. So through this process of writing down different things, I was also trying to figure out like a step-by-step order of how things should go in. But in that process with makeup, I also decided, hey, you've never really done a skincare regimen either for your face, and so you need to figure that out. So I started looking at like cleansers and makeup removers, what serums really were. I'd never used one before, moisturizers, masks, facial oils, different kinds of things like, hey, Luna, stop. Makeup remover, toner, cleanser, moisturizers, just the whole thing. So I'm going to do a separate video on my skincare because this is kind of, oh, I got something on that page, but this is kind of where I got into figuring out like skincare for morning and night. And so that's going to be a whole separate video. And then step by step of my makeup routine. And now we finally get to the pretty part. The pretty part is this part, and also I don't want to look at the page that has that on it. So let's do this. Let's put that over here. The cats have been quiet this whole time until I start filming. Like, that's the way it always works. Ugh, it's very annoying. Okay, so my 2020 makeup routine, I used mostly colorful boxes to create this. I went through it step by step in my different categories and what things I was looking at trying or that I had already bought. Whoops. Sorry, my kitten loves certain parts of my makeup and she wants to eat them. So we're going to go through this list. I'm going to show you the different things I've got, what I've liked, what I haven't liked, and then there's things on this list that I ended up never getting. And we have the whole 9, like all the steps and everything. And then I'm going to go through the order. You know how I put timestamps in videos? That's what that is. The order of makeup steps that I do, and hopefully this is helpful for some of you. Maybe some of you are looking to restart a beauty routine. Restarting a beauty routine for me is a part of my self-care, because doing my makeup I consider as self-care for me, because I don't make time for it in my life, and if I'm going to take care of myself, I need to do things that make me happy, and doing my makeup and things is something that makes me happy. So sorry guys, I am probably on my second or third cup of coffee. I'm using my Magic Kingdom mug. I'm not sure if you guys can see that if I tilt it, in honor of the parks being closed right now. Also, my nails are a mess. I'm not going to apologize for it. It just is what it is. Okay, so let's start with primer. Now, some people don't believe that makeup primer is necessary. I personally do, just because I do have some texture on my cheeks, and I have some pore issues around my nose, and sometimes dry patches on my face because I have sort of normal to dryish skin. And so that is definitely something that I believe in, is primer and getting your face ready to hold on to your makeup. So I have like 3 different ones. So the first one I started trying is this one. This is from Wet n Wild. It is their Photo Focus Cucumber 3-in-1 Primer Water. You can actually use this as a primer and as a setting spray and also a refresher through the day. It's really nice. It smells gorgeous, and I've used it as a primer, but it's not my go-to for primer. I actually like to use this to refresh my face during the day the most. So that's kind of what I've been using it for, but I'm gonna put prices and everything on the screen. So this is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Cucumber 3-in-1 Primer Water, and it's just a little spritzer, and it feels really good. And I actually think I'm gonna spray on my face right now. Ooh, it feels nice. Now, I decided to do this video like this, where I'm showing you guys the products rather than doing some kind of makeup tutorial, because I'm not 100% sure anybody really wants to see me give you a makeup tutorial. But towards the end, I am going to show you guys pictures of my makeup that I've done using the products that I'm showing you. So that was primer number 1. This was the first one I bought to try. And then the second one I bought is this one. This is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. This is what they're calling a dupe for a very high-end putty style primer. The point of this particular primer is to kind of help fill in your pores, to blur them out so they're not as obvious. As you guys can see, I have used this one a lot. And it's just like a little putty like that. And it's really nice when you rub it into the skin, and it leaves you feeling really smooth, and it just feels really good. I don't know if I would say that it's hydrating, but it feels really, really nice on the skin, and it's sheer, so there's no tint to it, which is also kind of nice. This is probably my favorite that I've been using, and also the one I've been using the longest. So if you haven't tried e.l.f., which stands for Eyes, Lips, and Face, I'm sure you guys know that, you should try it out. Also, I was really shocked when people on YouTube were talking about Wet n Wild, because back in the day, I'm 35, so back in the day, Wet n Wild was like hard candy. It was like one of those brands that you got and it was just like cheesy makeup and crappy makeup, but no, it's not anymore, you guys. It's really good. So I actually have one more primer from Wet n Wild. This one is pretty new though. This is the Prime Focus Primer Serum. This is a hydrating serum. It looks like it's got glittery stuff in it, but it doesn't. And it's in this little dropper like this. I'll show you guys. I'll put it right here. And I've really enjoyed this. I've used this with the Poreless Putty Primer. You see? And it just sinks into your skin really, really well. And it smells really good. It smells really good too. It smells great. So, and it leaves you just a little tiny bit tacky, which helps with gripping onto your foundation when you put it on. So that is the 3 that I have. The 2 I am currently using would be the primer serum and the Poreless Putty Primer. I use them together sometimes, where I put the Putty Primer in my T-zone and this on the rest of my face, or sometimes I just use this, or sometimes I just use that. So I've been kind of using both. All right, so now for foundation. So I'm weird about foundation. I like full coverage, but I also like a matte looking face, matte-er. I have also discovered that I like more of a natural satin finish. I'm not big on the dewy finish. I have a lot of hyperpigmentation or discoloration. I will put a picture right here. In my skin from acne scars or like zits and stuff that I picked at and they scarred up and everything. And so my skincare regimen is trying to help me with that. So I have stuff I have to cover. So on my list, I had picked 4, and the e.l.f. Flawless Foundation was the first one. So this is the e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation. It is pretty much a matte foundation. One thing I like about e.l.f. is that they are cruelty-free and vegan for most of their products, so that's something that I really enjoy. Mine is in the shade Cashew. It's medium with olive undertones. My skin has an olive undertone to it. So these are the colors I tend to go for. So the e.l.f. one comes in a little pump like this. I've used it a few times, but I kind of found 2 other ones that I really, really like. So I need to keep trying this and using it, but I did really like it. This is the first one I bought and the one that I was using the most when I restarted everything. Now, the next one is the Milani Conceal and Perfect. I ended up actually not getting that one and going with 2 other ones. So the next one I saw a lot was the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear. The thing I like about this one, and I didn't even realize it until right now as I'm filming this video, is that it does have SPF 25 in it, which is great because when I'm outside, my job is outside with sports. When I'm outside, if I'm gonna have something on my face, 1, I want it to be lightweight, 2, I want it to have coverage, and 3, I'd like for it to have an SPF so that way my skin is protected. I actually just got in the mail a primer with SPF, but I haven't tried it yet, so I'm not even gonna mention it. But this one, I finally got this one. I'm in the shade 485, and this one, guys, oh my goodness, I love this one so much. Again, it comes in a pump. You'll notice that my colors are pretty close to the same in the shades, but I absolutely love this one. This one is amazing. Now, something else that I like, I tend to sometimes just want sheer coverage. I used to use a Bare Minerals sort of like BBCC cream, and I decided I didn't want to repurchase that one, and I finally did get rid of it, but I decided I didn't want to repurchase it just because it was so expensive. And I actually found the brand ColourPop as well towards the end of last year. I'm obsessed with ColourPop, and they released a line called the Pretty Fresh line. So this is the hyaluronic acid tinted moisturizer from ColourPop. This is very sheer coverage though. This is not a full coverage foundation. This is really what it says. It's a tinted moisturizer. Now, I have been able to build this up, and combining this with concealer, I've been able to get the exact look that I want. It does give you a little bit of a dewy look, but I am a powder girl, so I like finishing powder and setting powder on my face, so that helps kind of cancel out some of that dewy finish. But I love this. I have used it a lot and I'm going to keep using it. I am medium 12W in the Pretty Fresh tinted moisturizer. I love this. These 2 are my go-tos right now. The only thing that would make this better is if it had SPF in it. But if I'm maybe using a primer, like I just got a primer that has SPF in it, that can help kind of cancel that out. So these are my go-tos for foundation. I'll put these over here. All right, so moving on to concealer. All right, and I know this video is going long, so what I might do is I might split this up into complexion. Well, can I? You know what? I might do a part 1 and part 2, so we'll see. So moving on to concealer, I have two different concealers that I am really enjoying. Now, in the concealers, I do have two different shades in each one because I need one to kind of help cover up blemishes and then one to brighten under the eyes. And under the eyes, sometimes I do a combo. Okay, so I have two that I've been using. So the first one is the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. This is basically a dupe for Tarte Shape Tape. You've probably heard of Tarte Shape Tape. I've never actually used it, but I listened to the beauty bloggers and they were not wrong about the coverage and how good it was. So I have tan sand and medium sand. Medium sand is my lighter one that I use to brighten up my under eyes, and it has like a large doe foot applicator. And then this is pretty matte and it's a very, very full coverage. And then tan sand is a little darker, and this is the one that I use to help cover up blemishes and my dark circles. That's kind of like a kind of color corrector. Under my eyes, I'll sort of blend both of these and I usually get the look that I want. So they have a new one that's a hydrating one, but I like this one a lot. So I just use this one. So this is the e.l.f. 16-hour Camo Concealer. It's pretty freaking awesome. All right, the next one is actually in that ColourPop Pretty Fresh line. So these have hyaluronic acid in them, which is really good for your skin. These are not gonna look very different in the tube here. This is the Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer from ColourPop. I have 90W and 100W, so they're pretty close. I could actually probably use one that's like maybe 2 shades lighter or 1 shade lighter than the 90W for my under eyes, but so far this has worked pretty well. So I use this one, these two a lot also, and these are a little bit less matte, still pretty full coverage, but I use these a little more often than the e.l.f. Camo Concealers right now. But they have a smaller doe foot applicator, so this is the darker one. This is 100W, and then this one is 90W. They're really not that different. I really could use one that is like this shade for under my eyes, which I've been thinking about looking for, but these have worked pretty well at this point, so I've just been using these two. So for concealer, you can actually get these at Ulta. You can also get the ColourPop Tinted Moisturizer at Ulta as well. e.l.f. is available at a lot of places, but ColourPop, for some things, you're not going to be able to find it unless you find it on their website. So these are the two different kinds of concealer that I've been using. The first one I started using was this one. Then I found these two. So I kind of use them like one day I'll use these, one day I'll use these. It sort of just depends on what I'm feeling that day. All right, so now for setting powder. This was something that I had to research a lot, which was setting powder and finishing powder. They're different things, but I found some powders that I really like that I think are working well for me. I also have one I haven't tried yet, but that I wanted to show you guys. So the Milani Banana Powder, I decided not to get. I was initially using just Mineral Veil from Bare Minerals because I had some. But then I found the Too Faced Peach Perfect powder. Now this is the little travel size. I bought this from Sephora. I decided I wanted to just try it and see if I liked it. It is really finely milled. It is really gorgeous on the skin. I love the way it smells, and oddly enough, it has gotten in my mouth, which powder does, and it tastes good, which I'm not going to eat my powder, but it does taste good. It is a higher end brand, but that's okay. It smells gorgeous. This is the translucent shade, I think. Is this? Mattifying loose setting powder, translucent peach whisper is what it says. I'm gonna show you guys. You see that? It's translucent, it's soft, it just, oh, it feels so good, and it mattifies, which is also something that I really like. So I will probably end up getting a full size of this at some point, but there's a lot of product in here. There was like 3.5 grams, which is a lot, and I don't use a whole lot, so this one's been great. So this is the Too Faced Peach Perfect. You can get the little travel size at Sephora near the registers. The next one, this is a new one to my collection. This is, because it's new from e.l.f., this is the Halo Glow Setting Powder. Guys, this only comes in 3 shades. It's light, medium, and dark. I wish it came in a few more shades or even like a translucent shade, but this is the medium one, and I can't even tell that I have powder on when I use it. It is super finely milled as well, just like the Peach Perfect one, and it honestly, it's great. It is fantastic. Now, how much is in here? I couldn't tell you, but let me show you. So the one thing I like is it has a little turn for the sifter so that it stays closed. But I'm gonna get some on my finger here. So you can see it does have a little bit of a tint to it. But on me, like that shade is really nice, and it just blends right in. It mattifies a little, gives you a little bit of a glow as well, but not crazy, not glittery, but just a little glow, and it's just, it's amazing. I've been using this every day that I do my makeup for the past like couple weeks, and I've really enjoyed it. So I use the medium one, so that's that. So for setting powders right now, those are my go-tos. I do have this one. This one I just got. It's from Ciate London, so it's gonna be a higher end brand. This is the Everyday Vacay Coconut Setting Powder, and I haven't used it yet, but you can see that it's white. It smells like kind of like coconuts. I've done this bit, what I'm about to do with you, but that's it. And you can see that as you buff it in, it does blend into the skin, and it does get pretty translucent, and it does smell like coconuts, which is really nice, and I like that smell. So I have this one as well, but like I said, I haven't really used this one yet, so the other two I know more about, but this one came in a BoxyCharm, so you know, it is what it is. Okay, so now let's go to, I think what we're gonna do for this video is we're gonna go to bronzer, blush, and highlight. And then, no, you know what? We're just gonna do the whole thing, forget it. All right, so for bronzer. Now, I've been a fan of bronzer since I discovered bronzer, and I've never been a huge fan of blush. So I've always used bronzer as like my blush, and I'm also not a huge like trying to contour my face kind of thing. I think I do it inadvertently, like I don't mean to do it, but I'm not heavy contouring, like where you draw like a real, like a line, you know, and then the lines on your face. Like I don't do all that. So for bronzer, I have the e.l.f. Primer Infused Bronzer. This goes on so gorgeous. It is amazing. I love this one, and it's matte. Like it doesn't give you a sheen or anything. And I'm gonna put this on my watch tan. But I mean, like once you get it on your face, I mean, it's just, it is gorgeous. I love it. Showing you my arm is not the same as showing you on my face. But I love this one. So the e.l.f. Primer Infused Bronzer. And then Physicians Formula. I love Physicians Formula. The Butter Collection smells amazing. This is the Butter Bronzer in just the shade Bronzer. I use Deep Bronzer and Sunset Bronzer as well, but this is just the basic bronzer shade. I'm going to show it next to the other one. Guys, there's just like it says, like so buttery. And you can see that, hopefully you can see. I don't know if you can see actually, but it's so good. It's so good. I love it. So these are my two go-to bronzers. I happened to get this one in a set that was like a travel set one. So very small versus this one, but this is great because I can just put it in my makeup bag and carry it with me, but they do have these in full size. So this isn't intended for sale, so you can't buy this size unless you buy this set, but I'll put the price of the regular one right here. But this is, I love the butter collection. You're going to see a few more items from the Physicians Formula butter collection here coming up. So the butter bronzer in bronzer, deep bronzer, and sunset bronzer look good on me. And then the e.l.f. primer infused bronzer, and this is in the shade Forever Sun-Kissed. Forever Sun-Kissed. Now there is one other bronzer that I had to get. It just recently came out and I got it and I've been obsessed with it and I've been using it every day. And guys, like, it just came out. This is the Too Faced Sun Puppy bronzer. It's so cute. Again, a higher end brand, but I had to get it because of the packaging, because I'm a sucker for packaging. But this is the Sun Puppy bronzer. It's a limited edition. And when you open it up, you do have a mirror, so I'm going to cover that. Well, maybe I'll just do this. But you have his little face, and it's like 3 different shades, and I just swirl my brush in there and get all 3 shades and just kind of put it all over my face to warm up my whole face, and I love it. And when I use this, a lot of times I don't use blush at all because I just put this all over my cheeks. But I love this guy. The Too Faced Sun Puppy bronzer is great. It's so great. I love it. All right, now for blush, like I said, me and blush are hit and miss sometimes. So first thing I tried is the e.l.f. blush palette. This is the light version. There is a dark version. I kind of want to get it. I have used these. I like them. Oh gosh, I forgot. Mirror. So this is what they look like. So you have these 2 lighter shades and these 2 deeper shades. I tend to use these 2 more. This one has a little bit of glitter in it. I have used this one and this one a little bit, but I've mostly used these 2. I tend to like blushes that are not as pinky pink, like more mauves, oranges, brown kind of tones for blushes, just because I feel like when I use pink blush, I look like a clown. So I'm working on easing myself into using pink blushes and getting comfortable with it. But right now, these would be the 2 that I use. So this is the light blush palette from e.l.f. The other blush that I've been using is from Physicians Formula. This is the Vintage Rogue Physicians Formula Butter Blush. Now, I have some Physicians Formula like palettes that are like this big, that are collaborations with different people, and they have blushes in there, so I've been using those. But when I got the travel one, they had Vintage Rogue in there, Vintage Rouge, I don't know, whatever, in there, and so I've been using this one a lot. So this is the butter blush. It smells just like the butter bronzers and everything. I'll put this, I have no idea because I still have crap on my hands. But you see that? Like, it blends so nicely, and it comes out and it ends up being like this kind of lighter pink. And so it's something that I feel like I can definitely use and work with. And that was a lot. Like, I don't use that much at all, ever. So I would never use that much because then I would look like a clown, I think. So the Physicians Formula butter blushes, this is the Vintage Rouge one, but I have a couple other colors as well. So for right now, these are the blushes. Oh, I guess I should show y'all one of these. I'm going to show you guys the one that had a little bit of the glitter in it. We'll just put that one right here. So again, I went heavy here, but you can see some of that gold glitter in there. I don't use this much ever, but it's very, very, very pretty. So, okay. Now the last thing we're gonna do, and I'm going to cut this video after this for complexion, and then we'll go into the rest of it in the next video. I'm gonna put them up back to back though. You won't have to wait. I wouldn't want to wait either, but just for editing purposes, it makes things easier. We're gonna talk about highlight. So I have a few here. So first one is Physicians Formula. I feel like I'm on repeat. There's certain brands I've come to like really love. e.l.f., ColourPop, and Physicians Formula, I think, are my core 3. Okay. So this is the Butter Highlight. I've used this one a lot. This is the Rose Gold highlight, and it's soft and creamy and buttery and just amazing, and it smells great. And I usually just put this on with my finger, or I'll use a sponge. But look at that highlight. And see, and before I started watching videos, I had no idea what a highlighter was for, and now I know. I use the highlight on my cheekbones. I have really defined cheekbones. I also use it right above my eyebrows on my brow bone, because I have a defined brow bone as well. I do it on my nose and on my cupid's bow, which is right on the top of my top upper lip thing. But I love this rose gold highlight. I think it complements my skin so well. And so the rose gold Physicians Formula is amazing. Now the next one, this one is from Ciate London, another high-end brand, but this one came in a BoxyCharm. This is the Confetti highlighter. This is actually the first highlighter I started using because I got it in my BoxyCharm. And I was like, what is a highlight? And so this is what it looks like. Whoops, this is what it looks like. And so I'm gonna show it to you on my hand. I'll put it over here. I feel like you get that same sort of rose gold that you did over here with this one. So kind of seeing a theme here, maybe a little bit. I really like this one a lot though. So I do still use that. Now I do have two other ones. They aren't on my list, but I found this. This was a part of the Wet n Wild holiday collection that was at Walgreens. This is a palette of their Mega Glow highlighters. You can buy these shades individually, but I bought this palette. I think it was like, because it was like half off of the Christmas, and it was like $5 or something. You get White Lily, Botanic Dream, Blossom Glow, and Golden Flower Crown. And they look like this. They are gorgeous. I use these quite a bit as well. I've used the gold one a lot. I'll just show them to you. I'll show them to you here. So this is the pink one. This is the white one. It has a little bit of like a purple shift. This one is going to be kind of like the rose gold. And then this one is the gold. So these are all really, really good. So I highly suggest the Wet n Wild highlighters as well. I think they're great. And Christmas time, you can find these little sets like this. Now the last one I have for you, this is a recent one to my collection. This is called Over the Moon. Now Over the Moon is from ColourPop. I got this one to go with the Sailor Moon ColourPop collection that I was able to buy, but I wanted a highlighter to go with it. This is their Super Shock Cheek. In its feel, its texture, it's a lot like the Physicians Formula butter highlighters. It's very, very soft. With this one, I either use my finger or I use a makeup sponge. I've used a brush before, but it goes on better with a finger or a makeup sponge. Oh my gosh, guys, it's just so soft. I'm gonna put this one right here. Look at how amazing that is. And it just, it's so pretty. Hopefully you guys can see that. This one is has a very purple shift to it with some pearl. It's very pearlized. I love this one. I've been using this one like every day. So ColourPop Over the Moon Super Shock Cheek highlighter, the highlighting palette from Wet n Wild. I'll put the price for the individual ones on the screen, or I probably already did by this point. And then the Ciate London and the Physicians Formula Butter highlighter. All right, you guys, thanks for watching this so far. I am going to do a part 2, which is going to be all eyes and eyeshadow and eyes and that kind of thing, and also my beauty tools that I'm using. So I will also link everything that I've shown you down below in case you want to check it out. And thank you guys for watching. And if you want to see more of these beauty videos, please let me know. I'm also considering using my other YouTube channel that I don't use hardly at all, straight for beauty stuff. And honestly, I'm a little scared to ask this question, but if you want to see me do a makeup tutorial, let me know. Because I'll do it if you guys want to see it. And all right, you guys, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.